Hello, Hannah the Suburban Witch here, and today I am going through some books that I love as recommendations for you. If you are new to my channel, I'm Hana the Suburban Witch, a professional tarot reader and astrologer and witch, and I love making fun, witchy content for you guys here on YouTube. I also have a podcast, Witch Talks, which is here on YouTube and on Spotify and on Apple. Make sure to check it out. So this is like episode 5 of this. I haven't done one in a little while, but it takes a while to read the books, so that's why they're a little bit spaced out, but I will be bringing more to you as I read more, and I'm actually going to include some other ones of like little videos on what I'm currently reading and what is on my to read list as well. Numero uno, this is book number 1, and this is Baba Yaga's Book of Witchcraft. It is Slavic Magic from The Witch of the Woods by Madame Pamita. I've just finished this. It took me quite a while to get through just because I think it's awkward to hold a little bit. It's a big book, and to sit down and kind of, okay, you know, but I loved it. I loved this book. I just wish it was a little easier to handle maybe, but it's beautiful. It's got a beautiful cover. I'm going to show you the inside as well. But you have these beautiful images. The whole book is black, red, and white, and it's very on theme. Each chapter starts with an intro in terms of like, not an intro. Each chapter follows the story of Vasilina, who is this character. It's a folk tale that we hear of. And in each chapter, there's something that she does or learns that we then see expanded on in the rest of the chapter. It's really beautiful the way she does it. For example, Verteno, the spindle, and Veretino, the spindle. I don't speak Ukrainian. I do not know how to pronounce it. I'm learning Italian and Spanish, so I feel like that's my go-to accent. Baba Yaga picked up a basket and began bustling around the kata, packing up this and that. As she did, she gave some directions to Vasilina. "Do you know how to spin hemp fibers?" she asked. "I do," said Vasilina. "Good. I must attend to my business out in the world today. While I'm gone, I want you to spin my hemp into thread. Can you do that?" "I can try," said Vasilina. At that, Baba Yaga picked up a wooden spindle and a distaff and handed them to Vasilina. She then pushed aside the big wooden chest, and there was a little door Vasilina hadn't noticed before. Baba Yaga unlatched it and pushed it open to reveal an entire room filled floor to ceiling with bundles of hemp fibers. "I will return at sundown," she said matter-of-factly. "See to it that all of this fibre is spun into fine thread by the time I come back." And with that, Baba Yaga left the kata, locked the door behind her, and left Vasilina alone with the room full of hemp. So anyway, she, figures out how to do the task, and then Baba Yaga shares some wisdom around the spinning wheel and the spindle and spinning fibres and the close relationship she has to spinning. And then Madame Pamita, so the author, teaches the magic as well. So she talks about what they did historically back in the Ukraine and other Slavic countries, what we do today, what we see today, what the magic is, how to choose it, how to start, how to use spinning for divination. So each chapter follows this same sort of thread, right? Pun intentional. So we'll start with the story, Baba Yaga's version of it. Madame Pamita then dives into it and pulls out divination, spells to use, what to keep in mind. It's really, really, really cool. Really cool. The divination stuff in here was really fun. The concept of house spirits and hearth spirits and water spirits, all the spirits of everything, just appeals to my animist heart. And it's really inspiring. This was super inspiring to my own craft. And I did actually use one of the spells from this book, and it worked a treat, to the point where my husband's like, "I'm shook." That was such a fast turnaround. That magic was very obvious and very quick, and I have no doubt. So that's saying something, because he's very atheist-minded, which you would know if you'd listened to episode 13 of the Witch Talks podcast, where I chatted with him, and the poor thing, he was so nervous with that, and he put on his like nervous I'm on camera voice, which was really kind of grumbly. And afterwards I was like, you can barely understand you. And he's like, I was so nervous. So maybe I can get him on for another episode. Now, the next 2 books that I have to recommend, I can't show you because I read them as PDFs, which I hate reading PDFs, but I'm also really grateful for the fact that I was sent them as PDFs to read in advance of them being released to the world. The first one is Changing Paths by Yvonna Aburrow. Now, I wholeheartedly love this book. It only recently came out in April. I did invite Yvonne onto the podcast, so if you listen to the Witch Talks podcast, you can hear me chatting with them about it, because for anyone navigating changing religions, switching from any religion to any other religion, not just Christian to paganism, there is a lot of that in the book, but it's any religion. Yvonne goes through how you can navigate those changes, questions to ask yourself, how to figure out if the religion is the right one for you, how to figure out if your current religion is working for you or not. Oh, the wisdom in there was amazing. I did write a book review on that book, so you can definitely check that out on my website. I've popped a link below to that if you want to read a little bit more. There's a few quotes in there as well. I think it's a must-read resource for anybody, specifically those who are deconstructing Christianity, ex-vangelical, or leaving the Christian church. Absolutely, 100% must-read. And the last one is another copy I got, an advanced copy of. It is called Inspiring Creativity Through Magick, and it's by Astrea Taylor. This book was actually really critical for me. I kind of went in, she was like, can you read my book? And I've offered a blurb on that as well. And I was like, yeah, of course I can, send it over. And I just kind of started reading, and I went in thinking I'm already artistic as a person. I use a lot of creativity in my magic. I use a lot of magic through my creativity, right? I've done a video here on YouTube called Art Magic, right? It's all about that. So I was kind of expecting to already know the things, which is very egotistical of me. I see that. And I started reading, and Astrea was giving some personal stories about inspiration that she's received and how that's come through and blah, blah, blah. And I was just kind of reading, and a magical thing happened. And I'm not kidding. It was a magical thing that happened. Reading it on my computer, right? Because it's a PDF. So I'm scrolling through. And then I think I took a break, and I'm just like scrolling whatever on my phone, and I see this flash of white like behind my phone, and it's my computer screen, because you can't see it. I can see it. My computer screen's right there, right here. So this flash of white, and I was kind of like, what? Because I wasn't doing anything on the computer. Nothing should be going on there. And I look over, the whole screen's white because a Word document has opened up. And I was like, I didn't open Word. I haven't touched the computer for like 15 minutes. And then I literally heard, clear audience dropping in, I heard, start writing. And I was like, what? Start writing what? And I was like, all right. And so I just started writing. I was like, a Word document has magically opened up in front of me, and I've literally heard to start writing. So that is what I'm doing. And blah, blah, blah. Oh my God, hundreds of words later, thousands of words later, I came out of that like a spell was broken, and it was probably 2 hours had gone past, and I had written like the first 2 chapters of a memoir. And I was just sitting there going, what the fuck just happened? And I went back to Astrea's book. I'm getting shivers as I talk about it. I went back to Astrea's book, and I was just like, this feels like it was almost open. It opened up something in me to allow that to come through. It was really amazing. So I had this like divine experience with this book. So amazing. There are some great suggestions in there. I love the idea of personal correspondences with writing or with the craft or whatever you're doing. Some really interesting looks at things like the muses and different inspirational deities and things throughout time and history. It's just a really well-rounded book, as with everything Astrea does. Very, very well researched, very well put together. Highly recommend it. But we do talk about it on a podcast episode as well, because I did interview Astrea, so you can check that out on the Witch Talks podcast also. And please, if you can give me a subscribe or like this video, give me a comment. I absolutely love any interaction that you can provide. It fills my bucket and makes it better for me to continually make stuff for you guys too. And of course, if you want to work with me one-on-one, you can do so by booking in a guidance call. I have both 30-minute and 60-minute options available. I hope you have enjoyed this episode of Books I Love, and I look forward to catching up with you in a few months' time once I've devoured a couple extra books. I hope you're having a lovely day wherever you are in the world today, and I will chat with you next time.